Good morning, guys. I want to talk to you today about the relationship of Google reviews to sales, and in particular, car count and close ratio. By now, if you're in this team and you've been here for even a month, you'll realize that we take our reputation very, very, very seriously. Matter of fact, it's the only thing that I would say that managed to actually make me very upset. I think that there's an old saying that I heard from Warren Buffett, who said to his people that when he took over Salomon Brothers in the 90s, and this was after Salomon Brothers, their previous corporate team, rather their CEO and whatnot, were indicted for fraud, and Salomon Brothers was one of the biggest at the time, matter of fact, in managing, I think he was either risk or money, whatever it was. They were indicted for fraud, and it was a lot of freaking money. Well, Warren Buffett was one of the shareholders of Salomon Brothers, the firm, and I think he was one of the majority shareholders, so he was the owner rather, and then these guys were running the company. And these guys that were running the company ended up being a bunch of fraudulent human beings. Obviously they were indicted, they were fired, there's a trial going on. Instead of assigning another CEO, he goes in himself and becomes CEO while still being Warren Buffett, which means he owns all these other companies that he's managing for his investors and himself, managing the portfolio rather. And then at the same time, he's running actively as a CEO, meaning he's running the company on the front lines. And he goes in front of the Senate for a hearing because obviously, this company is involved in major fraud, and it's his problem because he's taken over the leftovers. And he does a question and answer, and then he does a beautiful speech, and he says, I'll finish with this. He says, look, I've showed you guys what I'm doing. Obviously, I've shown you that I care, that I'm not here to screw anyone over. And I'll leave you with this, the same thing that I tell my people. It is this: lose me money and I will be understanding. Lose me an ounce of reputation and I will be ruthless. And you can YouTube this and look it up. And this has stuck with me. This has stuck with me so much, not because just Warren Buffett said it, but because we're talking about the richest person, one of the richest people of the century. And we're also talking about what really ultimately matters. It's your reputation. It's not how much money you have. You've heard of people that make a lot of money, but nobody likes them. Nobody would trust them. Nobody would allow them to come to their house. Carlos Escobar made a lot of money, right? So did Noriega. So did all these gangsters, like all these people, right, that are not good human beings. They have a dangerous or a terrible reputation. The goal was never just to make money. The goal was to be good. The goal was to be useful. The goal was to be successful, to be excellent, to be a winner. If you focus on those things, the money is always going to be there, assuming you're in the capitalistic economy where people reward you for being excellent. And then what happens is the word gets out that this person and this team is excellent. And what does it do? Let's talk about that. Once you run a really good shop and you do a good job to every customer, and this is front and back, this is not just the sales team, this is also the team that fixes cars, diagnoses cars, QCs cars, this is everybody. And by the way, if you have a bad apple, it ruins the whole team, right? The word gets out that the team at Auto Pro over on Maple is incredible. The team over at Carfix Troy is incredible. The team over at Carfix Shelby is incredible. What happens is people get one of our flyers, or they're just Googling us, and all of a sudden you pop up at the top because Google says, hey, put these guys at the top. They have the most reviews, people seem to like them. Google wants to be useful, right? Because if they're not useful, then they're going to get tossed out. They put the best and the most incredible and credible, right, people at the top. And then the person goes through your reviews and says, great, I'm going to go and take my car there because they have 500 more reviews than the next competitor and have better ratings. They have a 4.8, 4.9 versus a 4.4 with 200 reviews. They have 900 reviews with 4.9. That's how you get car count, and you guys already know that. But you know what's funny about this? The part that I think a lot of guys don't even think about is when we send a flyer out that says $19.99 oil change or $347.77 for brake pads and rotors in the front or back, the customer goes online and they say, oh, these guys have some pretty good reviews. Let me go read the bad ones. Anyone do that? We do that, right? Go on Amazon and you filter by 1 star. And they look at your bad reviews and they're like, oh man, oh crap. Oh man, they recommend stuff people don't need. Oh, they don't fix things right the first time. And they read all this bad reviews, and of course a bad review is gonna highlight everything you did wrong, right? It's never going to talk about all the things you did right. The 8 things you do right, they don't give a crap. That one person, you just messed with the wrong person, and that person is going to hose you in front of the entire world, right? Another piece of advice from that same speech, Warren Buffett says, I tell all my managers to behave in such a way that the next day their behavior would be highlighted on the front page of a newspaper. And it would be written by a very well-informed and intelligent reporter. Well, here's the thing. Nobody reads the newspaper, but I'll tell you this. People read Google reviews, and exactly that is what happens. When you don't treat people right, what happens, or you do people to treat people right, they're going to go online and they're going to rave about it. They're going to rave about it or they're going to rant about it. And when they rave about it, it compounds. And when they rant about it, it compounds. It adds up on each other. If you don't know what compounding is, it's how a snowball is built, right? As a snowball gets bigger, it attracts more snow. So when your reputation is wonderful, it attracts more wonderful things. When your reputation is terrible, it attracts more terrible things fast. It goes at scale, man. Like when you have a really bad reputation, like you ever heard of people, everything's going wrong for me, right? Well, yeah, because you're building at scale. You have a compounded of nonsense. You made so many bad decisions that now life is attacking you from every which way. This is true for personal, but it's also very true for businesses. I've seen businesses, they go like this, and then they go whoop, all the way down, right? It compounds. Or they go like this, and then go whoop. Guys, I worked for 4 years before we actually blew up, right? I mean, you could ask the guys that have been here since 2016. Ask guys like Masood, ask Mike, ask Billy when he came in 17, ask AJ, ask Shaquille, right? These guys have been with us 16, 17, and part of 18, actually all of 18. I worked 7 days a week, and we had zero, dude, it was like zero churn. We didn't lose any freaking customers, right? And I worked my tail off. So then what happened in 19, we 60% growth, 60% growth the next year, 80% growth. But it was like this for a while, and then it was whoo, because once that reputation hit that one point where it built, it blew up. The same thing you do, man. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it wasn't destroyed in a day. You build it brick by brick, or you tear it down brick by brick. Going back to the reviews, when you send a $19.99 coupon out, you think people are going to come to you even if they read some bad reviews? You bet your ass they will. They still do. But you know what? They read your bad reviews, and when you go to pitch the next item, you know what they say? They think of that bad review. Oh yeah, these guys are trying to scam me. I'm just going to get my $20 oil change and I'm going to get out. What does that do to your close ratio? People don't want to buy. Well, people don't want to buy because you got 3 bad reviews in 1 month last month in a row. And now it's messing up your close ratio because all the people you're attracting, they're filtering it by lowest review. And they're looking at all your recent shenanigans, because the crazy thing and the best thing about today's world, guys, is that everybody can see everything. You can't be like 1985 and try to do scammy things and then the next guy won't know. No, the next guy will know. And what they're going to do is, humans are complicated. They're not just going to say no. They're going to be like, let me just use these guys for that $20 oil change, that $350 brake pads. And then you're like, oh, I can't sell anything on these brake pads and rotors coupons, and people don't want to buy. Dude, I mean, I hate to say it, guys, but like I've always said it. When people don't want to buy, don't ever blame the economy or the market. Like there's a whole video I did on sales, right? Whose fault is that? Well, it was what we did last month. Why am I suffering now? Because that's just how life works, bro. Build 3 months of good reputation and watch what happens to your close ratio. Try this. Don't get a single bad review for 3 months and get like 150 good reviews, right? And watch what happens to your car count and to your close ratio. One of the things that you guys don't maybe realize is that how Shelby has 160, 170 cars a week right now. Those boys don't get bad reviews. I'm telling you right now, that's one thing that I'll rave about that team. You guys are absolutely incredible over there at CarFix Shelby. All the guys, I'm gonna name maybe there's like a bunch of you guys, but all of you guys are studs. And not to say the rest of the team, man. We got, again, this is specifically about Google reviews I'm talking, right? That team, man, I get 1 or 2 bad reviews that I have to deal with out of there like in a year, right? And I think that has a lot to do with their car count. Because when a customer goes and filters by bad reviews, the only bad review they see is from 8 months ago. And they're like, oh, man, in 8 months, these guys have gotten 190 good reviews and 1 bad review. Man, I'm going to try them out. You would try them out, right? You're like, oh, these guys don't get bad reviews. But if you got a bad review last week, and then another one 2 weeks before that, and another one 3 weeks before that, well, yeah, dude, you're not going to want to even try that shop. And if you do, you're going to have your guard up. You're going to be like, all right, I'm ready for the punch, right? And then you're like, man, these customers don't trust us. These customers this, these customers that. And you know what's funny? They still come in and they're gonna use you and they're gonna just be like, bye, I'm gonna use my oil change and I'm gonna go somewhere else because the person that I trust. Remember, all objections are trust. Every single one of them. I always said it. If they don't want to buy your price because they don't trust you. If they don't want to do the work because they're not convinced, they don't trust you. If they don't want to do the work because they don't think you're good, they don't trust you. Every objection ultimately is a trust objection. How you mitigate that, primarily at the very first level, is through your online reputation. Then the second level is the way you communicate on the phone. When you answer the phone, if you sound like a professional, you follow the script, mitigated the risk again. Then they come in, you greet them right out of the gate, you use the write-up procedure properly. Once again, consistent behavior, consistent systems, the trust goes up. Every little thing you do builds your trust until when you go to approach them and you try to pitch that, at that point you're taking your pants off and saying, well, here it is, right? That's at that point you realize whether they trust you or not by saying either yes or no. Guys, I've said this before, like you don't sell when you pick up the phone and tell them what's wrong with your car. You were selling from the very moment they got your flyer, to when they went online, to when they picked up the phone to call you, to how you answered the phone, how you wrote them up, how you got them home or told them to sit down, how you went back to them, how clean your lobby is, how well your curb appeal is, how your freaking uniform looks. All of that is a sale. Then when you go up there and you present the ticket, it's either 80% of the way there or it's 80% of the way the other way. And then you could try to be the smoothest salesperson, but I'm gonna tell you right now, man, it's an uphill battle. And you can make that a downhill battle if you just follow the systems. I've been doing this for way too long for me to just say, hey man, it doesn't matter everything you do if you're just smooth. Good freaking luck if you're gonna be smooth. Smoothness will help, I promise you. Smoothness is incredible. Charisma makes you money. All that is great. But all these other things is what you can scale. Otherwise, you're gonna have a job and you'll be tied to that front counter for the rest of your life. Ask me how I know. 13 years of doing that, right? How did I get out? You build a monument, you build a system, you build something beautiful that attracts people, and then you keep that thing beautiful in every which way. The building, the systems, the people, the way we speak, the reputation, all of that. You build that, and then on the back end, you freaking deliver. You deliver every time. You make a best system so that the car doesn't ever leave QC'd, that you never misdiagnose cars, and you never, ever, ever sell things that are not needed. I'll go on record saying that, guys. Don't freaking sell things that are not needed. You will burn your reputation to the ground. And before that, I'll be honest, this is a warning, and I love you all, but if you do that, you will not be on this team. I've said this before. You lose me reputation, and I will be ruthless. Because why? Let me tell you this. Because there are people on this team that trust me. They've entrusted me to protect the reputation of this company. And they've trusted the leadership in this team to protect that for their families and children. When you attack the reputation of this company, willingly or unknowingly, because you're just not paying attention, you are destroying the very tree that feeds all these guys and their families. And if you're gonna do that, well, I hope you understand why I have to be ruthless. Once again, you lose money, you make mistakes, no big deal. You lose us reputation, you're gonna be gone before you can even blink. I hope that helps. Also a warning, but also more importantly, it's an education that cost me a lot. And I hope it doesn't cost you a lot. Thank you very much.